Welcome to another episode of Dinosaur Parkour. Faster, better, mainframe programming. This video is part of a series. The topic is Initial TSO ISPF Setup, tweaking the various settings to make ISPF your own. I'm your host, Chris P. Fried. If you have not already done so, please subscribe. It does matter. This shows the environment used to create this video, ZRS 2.4, ISPF for ZRS 2.4, which has an internal ID of 7.4. At the bottom of the screen, there are two lines that are showing the function keys in which actions are assigned to those keys. I want to turn those lines off. The command to do that is PFSHOW off. Why is this command called PFSHOW? Specifically, I want to explain the PF part. Here is a picture of an IBM 3270 keyboard. As you can see, there are keys at the top that are labeled PF1 through PF24. PF stands for Programmable Function. Those were called the PF keys. PF3 is normally assigned a value of exit or in. PF7 is normally paged backward. PF8 is paged forward. It was pretty common for a programmer looking over your shoulder to say PF3, PF7, PF8. For example, if I asked another person to look at an issue, they might say things like, get out of this, PF3. Go into member XYZ, PF8, PF8, PF8 one more time. I see the problem. Sounds like we were speaking by code, but I've been involved in many conversations similar to that. The 3270 keyboard is where the PF terminology comes from. If you hear somebody saying PF, that means function key on a Mac or Windows keyboard. The command to show the actions assigned to the programmable function key is PFSHOW. PFSHOW off is on the command line. Press enter. The PF help line disappeared. Now the command line is at the very bottom of this. I went ahead and made the changes to move the command line to the top because in my experience most programmers have the command line at the top. It's odd to see a programmer that has the command line at the bottom. There's another Dinosaur Parkour video that explains how to move the command line from the bottom to the top. Currently, PFSHOW is off. Type PFSHOW on the command line and press enter. Two lines of PF keys appeared at the bottom of the screen. This is the long version of PFSHOW. There's a short version that most folks do not know about, and you can control what appears on the short version. Type PFSHOW on the command line again and press enter. Cool bean, a single line of PF key help. It shows four keys: F1 help, F4 return, F10 actions, and F12 cancel. On the command line, type keys and press enter. This brings up the key list utility panel. I can quickly tell that I've made changes to this key list. Function key 3 was changed from exit to in. A value of return was assigned to function key 4. When I make changes, I use mid case for the definition or the value. The format column controls if a PF key is shown on the short format of PFSHOW. Long means only show the PF key on the long version of PFSHOW. Short means show the PF key on the short and the long version of PFSHOW. So if you want to see a PF key on the short format of PFSHOW, enter short in the format column. F1, F4, F10 page forward, and F12 is cancel. Page backwards. Type long for the format for the PF10. Press enter. The only change was that long folded uppercase and the cursor moved to the definition column. Press PF3 to end this panel. We are back on the ISPF primary option menu, and the F10 key is no longer being shown on the PF key help line at the bottom. I noticed that some programmers use the keys command rather than PFSHOW to remind themselves of which action is assigned to which programmable key. Programmers remember the keys command since it is used to change what actions are assigned to various PF keys. Less known is that the keys command also lets you control what appears on the short format of PFSHOW. Type PFSHOW on the command line, enter. Now the PFSHOW is gone. So just entering PFSHOW multiple times toggles PFSHOW display from PFSHOW long to PFSHOW short to PFSHOW off. I prefer to have PFSHOW turned off. However, if you like using PFSHOW, you could reclaim a line by using the short format of PFSHOW. The keys command can be used to control what appears on the short format. This has been another episode of Dinosaur Parkour. Faster, better, mainframe programming. Thank you for listening. Please consider subscribing to the Dinosaur Parkour channel if you found this video useful. There should be a subscribe icon on the screen.